Nou ja, ons het vroeër gesels vanoggend ek en Jenny ook spesifiek oor 'n studie wat gedoen is en dit rondom 4 tot 5-jariges in Suid-Afrika wat sukkel om te floreer. En hierdie opname is gedoen, ons sal nou hoor by wie of deur wie. En ons gesels met Mhlanga, hy is woordvoerder van die departement van basiese onderwys. Elijah, good morning, welcome to die Groot Ontbyt.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you for chatting to us on this public holiday. Let's start with the survey, Elijah, that was done. Who did the survey and when was it done?
Well, the survey was done last year. It was done by a team of researchers that were funded by FNB. The Department of Basic Education was there, and other research organizations as well. We had a team of experienced people in the early childhood development sphere, and they assisted us with the research.
Elijah, these are very worrying findings. Can you talk us through them?
Yes, they are worrying findings, but they've come at the right time. Worrying in that the country had always been looking to find out what it is that happens before children go to school. So all what this research is saying is that the government's decision to remove the early childhood development function from the Department of Social Development to basic education is a right move, because we now have an opportunity to fix all these challenges that this particular research has indicated, which says that about 65% of our children who are at early childhood development are lagging behind when it comes to development. They are not where they're supposed to be at this time. The research itself is called Thrive by 5, which means by age 5, you need to be able to do some things, such as saying your name, attempting to write your name, identifying colors, and basically be able to make a meaningful conversation with someone when they ask you some questions. But it does confirm that majority of our children who are yet to go to school are not able to do this. And this, we talk about a sample of some 5,000 children across the country.
Yeah.
Now, we'll get to the solution to all of this now and the incorporation of early childhood development centers into the basic Ministry of Basic Education. But were we able to establish what caused this deficit?
Indeed, indeed. The aim of the research was to establish the causes. You always look for root cause so that you are able to come up with a treatment that will be appropriate for the problem that we've identified. One is malnutrition at home, lack of a comfortable environment at home, but also parents not paying attention to their children for various reasons. We also found that children physically, they're not developing in the way that they should, which means they're not eating the right food, but also the environments they're in are not stimulating. So all of those things accumulatively, they prevent the child's development mentally, physically, and socially as well, because they're not able to thrive according to their age. And as a result, whatever that they are not able to do will stay with them for a long time, even when they're in the education system, which means chances of them dropping out are very high because they are not where they're supposed to be. They are lagging behind. Some of them are far lagging behind. That's according to the research, which means a lot of work needs to be done to try catch up. And in many cases, catch up is not possible, because if you don't have a solid foundation, chances of you improving later are very slim.
Well, I take it for myself, when I'm hungry, and I'm always hungry, then I can't concentrate and learn. And I think that's the issue, Elijah, that if you've got 4 to 5-year-old kids and they're hungry, how must they concentrate? How must they learn? And the department has got now what you call school nutrition programs. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, you see, with the school nutrition program, it happens only when you are in school, which means when you're in grade 1 going up. So this research talks about what happens before you start grade 1. So that's the problem. Yes, the department has the National School Nutrition Program, which feeds 9.6 million children every day in school. And with that, we're trying to assist impoverished families who are not able to provide for their families. And we give the children breakfast and, of course, lunch And on Fridays, schools usually prepare food packs which they give to the children to take home for the weekend. So we try to provide for these children even when they are not in school. It's something that we've been doing for years now. The numbers are growing, but here the research says what happens when the child is between the age of 0 to 5. So now that we hear, we should then be able to try help the children to also get the right meals, because as indicated earlier, that whatever they are missing before they start school is more likely to affect them for a long time to come.
Exactly.
So the school nutrition is there, but it comes like 6 years after you are born.
Oh, that's so sad. And you know what? I always wonder what happens during school holidays. You said that you're trying to give some food with over a weekend and an end, but over a school holiday, it's a stretch of a few weeks where those kids maybe don't have the right nutrition, you know. And well, you're speaking about 4 to 5 year olds, but yeah, I mean, it's applicable to all children, whether you're 10 or 5 or 2. It's a sad, sad story. Okay, so the department has taken over this initiative from the Department of Social Development. Can you see that there's progress since that has happened? I mean, it happened on the 1st of April.
Well, the 1st of April was just a symbolic switch over, really, but the work had been happening for the past 2.5 years, because the proclamation itself was signed by the president following his announcement in the State of the Nation in 2019. So we had been working with the Department of Social Development and other government departments to assist us to make this transition smooth. We have been doing that. So what is happening now is for the Department of Basic Education to understand in detail what this function shift means. But what we did to try address that part was to shift or move the people who were responsible for the ECD function at the Department of Social Development, and have now come to the Department of Basic Education at national level. And those that were in provincial departments, they've moved from the Departments of Social Development at provincial level to the Department of Education at provincial level. So now we have continuity in that regard, but we are continuing to engage with our stakeholders, because we want them to understand that things are not just going to change overnight. It's a long-term project involving millions and millions of children, and also involving a lot of early childhood development centers which are registered, but we also have thousands and thousands which are not registered. And that's where the problem is, because even in the research study, it found that there are some centers that are not registered, which means there are thousands, if not millions, of children that we don't know where they are and what they're doing. So the first thing that we want our ECD centers to do is to register. Come forward so you can benefit from the services that government has for ECD centers. So before we do anything else, we need to account for each and every ECD center so that we are able to understand the size of the sector accurately with good quality data.
Now, Elijah, the research showed that the children are not only experiencing learning challenges, but also physical challenges. Previously, early childhood development centers were managed by social development, now basic education. To which extent will you be involved in new curriculum development for ECD centers?
Well, curriculum has always been a function of education, even when the function was with social development. The challenge was that there was no proper coordination, because you had one component with one department and the other one in the other department. So that's what prompted, among other things, the president to pronounce that we needed to shift the function from social development to education. But also our studies, when we went overseas to check other countries that have successful education systems, we found that ECD is part of education. So with that done, we will now proceed and look at the curriculum needs of children at that age 0 to 5 and see what needs to be strengthened. The curriculum function was always with basic education. What we need now is to strengthen it. We have been doing some work, in fact, some research in recent years. We partnered with Lego and we looked at something called play-based learning to see if children can learn better and learn more and be excited about being in a learning environment if we were to infuse play activities in what they are learning, so that we create excitement and we get more and more of them learning, particularly when they are between the ages of 0 and 5, so that we are able to attract their attention, give them understanding of concepts that they will be grappling with as they continue with their education. So there are various strategies that we've been working on in the past few years, preparing for where we are now.
But a quick question from my side. Does this mean more funding for ECD centers, particularly as it pertains to this research? Will you be giving them more money to implement these wonderful learning programs that the Education Department has given them?
Yeah, you know, it's a good question, but the problem is that you will increase and give more money to people and you leave others out. That's why we are saying everyone must register first, so that we can determine how much should be given to whom. So the first thing is for everyone to register. As indicated, there are others that are operating without registration. So we urge all of them to come forward and register, because we don't want to make a mistake of increasing money. The subsidies are there. They get them every month as per the arrangement from their time at the Department of Social Development. But there won't be any increases until everyone is registered, because we need everyone in the system. That's why I was saying that before we do anything else, we need to make sure that we have everyone fully on board. That's why we continue to engage with our stakeholders, because it's not just the funding. You also need to look at the curriculum. It needs to be uniform. And 2, the qualifications of the educators at that level.
Yes.
And 3, the remuneration for those people who work there. So you need to have norms and standards for what is taking place at ACD level. But for you to do that, you need everyone to be on a database, and you must know that this database is complete, so that you know how many children we have. For example, the stats that we have say that we have 1.56 million children between children who are attending some form of ECD center, but only 130,000 of them are in ECD centers that are fully registered.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate that you came to speak to us today here on Die Groot Ontbyt.